Okay, let's do a little chazar. We're being mazrin machlokes in Berachos Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, famous machlokes. Moshe Rabbeinu came to the Sneh, and the Torah records that when Moshe Rabbeinu came to the Sneh, Vayaster Moshe Panav, and he was afraid, Lageshes. So he hid his face, he didn't want to see the Sneh. So Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu wanted to give him his galus, and he didn't want to take the galus. So the Gemara has here in Berachos a machlokes, whether he did a good thing or whether he did a bad thing. First Mandomer says he did a bad thing. Vayaster Moshe Panav, and the second Mandomer says he did a good thing. So inside, Tana Mishmei to Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. This is an early machlokes. Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha is Rabbi Akiva's son. Tana Mishmei to Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. Kach Omer la Kadosh Boruch Hu Moshe Kisher Ratzisi la Ratzisa Achshav Shato Roitza Ini Roitza. So this is why, such a bad thing, that this is why that when Moshe Rabbeinu was on Har Sinai and he said Hareini Noes Kvoidecha, give me the full Hisgalus now, I want to see everything. Kadosh Baruch Hu told him Kisher Ratzisi la Ratzisa, I wanted to give you the whole Hisgalus at the Sneh, and you didn't want it, so now Achshav Shato Roitza Ani Roitza. So it sounds like a little bit tit for tat. But the diuk is in the Gemara is Kisharatzisi, that whatever you want to see now at Har Sinai, that's b'diuk what I offered you at the Sneh. I wasn't offering you anything less at the Sneh. So Kisharatzisi wasn't like a less of a nevuah. It was more of a nevuah than Har Sinai, and it was more of a nevuah than the Luchas Shnius, even where Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu, and it was more of a nevuah than Moshe Rabbeinu was even allowed to have. After Kol HaBais on Yom Kippur, on Har Sinai, Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Already knows Kvodecha, Lo Yirani Od V'chai." But that's now Lo Yirani Od V'chai. You say you're asking me something impossible. Lo Yirani Od V'chai. Live people can't see this. Yet there was enough sharus at the Sneh to be able to see this exact Hisgalus, which is Lo Yirani Ha'adam B'chai. So Kisharatzisi, Lo Yiratzisa. So that's the Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha's shita. Pligi to Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, Gemara says, and that's a machlokes for Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani. Amar Rabbi Yonasan, the Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rabbi Yonasan, B'schar Shalosh Zachal Shalosh Adrab. That because B'schus B'schar Vayaster Moshe Panav Zachal L'Klester Panav. That was this hiding away, this not wanting to see. He was zeicha to Karnar Panav. B'schar Ki Yorei Lageshes. He was afraid to approach the Sneh. Zachal V'yiru Migeshes Elam. That's why everyone had such a mirror for Moshe Rabbeinu. They were afraid to even go near him because he was afraid to go near the galus of the Sneh. Ayori mehabit, because he didn't want to stare at the Sneh. Zachal T'munas Hashem Yabit. That's what the Gemara says. So we're being masber the machlokes. What was the tzad of Moshe Rabbeinu to not want to see the hisgalus of the Sneh, which would have been, as the Gemara is masber, and I don't know that Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani argues with this Nakuda. You see, what was the tzad not to look at it, and what was the tzad that he should have looked at it? So that's the machlokes. What's the two tzaddim of the machlokes? So we learned that the tzad aveira shabai, for lack of a better word, with Moshe Rabbeinu, tzad chesaron shabai, that he didn't want to see the hisgalus. What was the chesaron? So Tzadok says, I'm staying outside, and then we'll go further inside. That the problem here was that he didn't understand his own madrega. He didn't understand what he was capable of at that time. So Rabbi Tzadok says, not here, but in Tzidkas HaTzadik, that just like a person has to have EMUNAH in Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu, you have to have EMUNAH in yourself. But it's not just like a self-help. Trust yourself, have faith in yourself. Like, if you're not right, you're not right. What are you having faith in yourself for? But Rabbi Tzadok is masbir that having emunah in yourself is having emunah in Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu. Like, if you believe that Hashem created the world, that if you believe that He created the world to make His kavod, and you believe that He created me. So if I believe that He created me, then I have to believe that I have some kind of a chelek in being miskala, the kvod Hashem in this world, and I can reach very, very high madregas. If you don't believe that, so it's not only chasar to emunah in yourself, it's chasar to emunah in the whole marechet of the bria. Everything is wrong. So it goes together. It's not just like you have to have emunah in yourself. You have to have emunah in Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu that He created you. If He created you, what did He create me for? What am I here for? What am I here for? If not for that. So the tzad chasaron was that you didn't have emunah in yourself. He's going to explain in a minute that why didn't he have emunah in himself? Because he understood that any godless that he could possibly have came from Klal Yisrael. Like there's no godless in a vacuum. That's not the way the world works. If I have some godless, Tzadok says in the next page, he says that there's no such thing as a navi or a tzaddik or a gadol to Yisrael that has siyata d'shmaya if he doesn't have the people behind him. The famous Rashi, Lech Reid, Migdulascha klum nasati l'chagdula b'shvil Yisrael. There is no godless in the vacuum. If you're the only one in the world, there's no Klal Yisrael. So here's Klal Yisrael sitting in Mitzrayim at the Sneh, and they're being oived avodah zarah. Halolo oived avodah zarah, halolo oived avodah zarah. They're at the lowest place. How can I possibly have, Heim lo yaminu? They're not holding. So if they're not holding, so why would I be holding? And if I'm not holding, so I don't want to look. I don't want to take something which is not right. Couldn't be a real nevuah. Let's put it that way.
Sounds like a reasonable point.
It's a reasonable point.
It's human frailty.
Shmuel Bar Nachman says it's a reasonable point. But what was the fault in his logic? That even though here's the glimpse ahead. The fault in his logic was that enochanami Klal Yisrael is in Mitzrayim memta shari tumah, and enochanami they're oived avodah zarah. But it doesn't mean that they're not good people and they don't have emunah. And emunah is really the ikr. Emunah is really the ikr. So Moshe Rabbeinu was looking kilu at, they're wayward. Klal Yisrael's wayward. They're being oived avodah zarah. They assimilated babish into the. But therefore I couldn't possibly be roy for this nevuah. But the chasaron was that they were wayward. That was bechitzonius. But they weren't necessarily wayward at the pnimius, and he failed to see the emunah of Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu. This, by the way, is Chazal Mefurish. Chazal say Mefurish that Hein lo yaminu li, that he was not down Klal Yisrael l'kaf schus, was down on l'kaf chayv. Hein lo yaminu li, they'll have emunah.
That's why he got the tzuras, right?
Also.
So it was right that his godless stemmed from Klal Yisrael. He just thought that Klal Yisrael didn't have a godless.
That's correct. So it's a whole different point. The lumptus was good. The lumptus was good. How am I supposed to have godless if Klal Yisrael doesn't have any godless? The Metzias was wrong. He judged Klal Yisrael wrong. So Kishu Ratzisi, Lo Ratzisa. That's the. I was. You were there, Daddy. They made a in the yeshiva here in Yeshivas Torah. So the chesed they did a siyum b'shas in memory of my father on the shloshim. I didn't ask him to do this. They did this. So I went to the siyum b'shas. A few people came to the siyum hashas. So I spoke there. So I said, just to tell you briefly, that the Bilam said in his treasure of brachas, Bilam Harasha says that Yizal Mayim Midolyav. That was one of his things that he said, that Yizal Mayim Midolyav, because he looked out at Klal Yisrael from a mountaintop, and he said that it's like an amazing people. It's like they're getting, the water is flowing from a very low place. Rashi says mina be'er. So a be'er is, you have to go down to the be'er. It's li. You have to go down to the Dolyav. A bear, you have to take a bucket and you have to go all the way down to the bottom, find the water, and bring the water up. A bear is not a mayan, a miskaber that goes up. Nevertheless, this is a bear, as a Bilam said, this is a bear which is overflowing. So the Gemara learns this pasuk from Bilam. The Gemara says a drasha, and the Dara Pebez, where it says a drasha, that he's haru bivnei aniyim shemehem teitzei Torah. Which is Karav Lupshat, because he's Harbi Vnei Aniyim. Here you have Aniyim, like they're so low. Dal is an Aniyim. Right? They're at such a low place, but be careful that you see, this is what Bilam was saying, Shebehem Teitzei Torah, Dafka, from there is saying Torah. So the Baral, just a couple of lines, the Baral says that, like, Kachazet, that why is Haru b'vnei Aniyim Shebehem Teitzei Torah? Why b'vnei Aniyim? Aniyim doesn't only mean poor people with money. Aniyim means poor and Nishkin Sheni Yidin. Nishkin Sheni Yidin. They don't have a nice Esrog. They don't have a nice Medaira. They don't have even a nice Shabbos table. Aniyim. Like they don't have. Like, they're not Sheni Yidin. You know. So the Baral says that, take a look, that when a Kohen Gadol goes, it's the holiest guy, goes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, to the holiest place, on Yom Kippur, the holiest day. So he has to wear a big day love. He's not allowed to wear anything gold. He's not allowed to wear anything. Why? So he says because he has to go in betachlos apshitus. He has to be completely pashut. And the Baral says, because you see, Rabbi Lashon in front of me, because you see that very often when you build out all the accessories of Ruchnius, $3,000 tefillin, $1,000 esrog. When you build out the accessories, a lot of times it's at the expense of the pshitus of the name. Certain pshitus, which can get lost when you accessorize it. So it's a wild. So the Kohen Gadol has to go back to the tachlos hapshitus when he goes in. You have to make sure that there's nothing that's not 100% deep in emes. On Yom Kippur, the Kodesh HaKadosh, big day love only. So the Bnei Aniyim have a maila of the tachlos hapshitus that there could possibly be. What's the tachlos hapshitus? What is the tachlos hapshitus? What is it? What is it? How does it manifest itself? It's a Buddha. The tachlos hapshitus is a Buddha. So it's frightening to think that the more we do what we're supposed to do, nobody's saying we're not supposed to do it, but the more you're doing what you're supposed to do, building out like sort of the fanciness of Yiddishkeit, it could be on the cheshbon of the EMUNAH gufa. Somehow or another, I mean, you see such a musig sometimes, I don't want to say anything bad, but you see such a musig that sometimes it's easier to be machmir on something than it is to activate your life in EMUNAH. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be machmir. But the problem is that sometimes that one replaces the other. Like I know I got to work hard, so I'll work hard and not eating rabbanut instead of working hard with kavod and tefillah. So you got to make sure that one is not at the expense of the other, because they can become, says the Maharal, mutually exclusive. So it comes out that it's like a Bari de Gazach right here, the Chumash, that Moshe Rabbeinu looked at Klal Yisrael and he said, I don't see any Shenkite here. The big Oimen Zara, Mem Toshari Tuba, Machlaikas of the Gemara, whether they intermarried or they didn't intermarry. Like what kind of Jews are these? Like these are not. What kind of representation are they of Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen? So he said, they asked her Moshe Panav, this whole thing can't possibly be. I can't possibly be Zoichet Nevuah because of that. But what he didn't chap is Tzadik B'chavakuk V'mitay Alachas. Tzadik B'emunah Seyifya. What he didn't chap was the EMUNAH. And the EMUNAH apparently, they didn't lose. So that's the that's what we learned until now. That's the Pashat Pshat in Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha that he didn't chap. Comes Rabbi Shul Bar Nachmani, as it says here with the Nekudas, comes Rabbi Shul Bar Nachmani, and he says, no, B'schar v'yaster Moshe Panav, Zachal l'chlester Panav. So that's where we're holding here. It says here, Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani Amar Sham Bebrachas B'schar Vayaster Moshe Panav Mehabit Zachi U'Zeicha to Sphira Lake, because he held Ki Toiv Asa B'Zeh Adarav Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani said Toiv Asa B'Zeh. Moshe Rabbeinu did a good thing by not wanting the Hiskalus. Why? Ki Oisa Hiskalus Haya Rak Lefi Shal L'Tzerech HaShlichus. Moshe Rabbeinu's, so here's like another Nakuta. Putting the Nakuta of the Tanakama aside, Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani said that Moshe Rabbeinu figured, it's like you say, Rav Chaim. I read all that, I'll shut it off. Moshe Rabbeinu figured that being, like he's agreeing with it, like you say, he's agreeing that he's not right. So what then am I getting a shlichus? So what is this Iskalos? So of course, Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu is saying, take off your shoes and come join me here at the Sneh. So what was he thinking? He was thinking, Moshe Rabbeinu was thinking that, okay, you're asking me to, you imagine like you walk into Panovich here, Rabbi Eliezer Chashavi walks into Panovich, and they say, Eliezer, the Rosh Yeshiva is out today, he doesn't feel well, can you be the Rosh Yeshiva for today? Right. Okay. Like, what would your response be? Well, he asked the Rosh Yeshiva, like, what would my response be? Kabul Chayber. He asked the Rosh Yeshiva, what are you, you're making chayzik over here. Like, it's okay, maybe I could do it maybe I could squeeze out like I have my bar mitzvah drasha, but I could say it over and the other will like it, but what am I coming in here being Rosh Yeshiva, like all of a sudden I'm the brisker out, like it doesn't shell. I see scholars how you rock lefi shell, it's Tzarech HaShlichus. Moshe Rabbeinu said this kid. So Ken did Zayd that this is a real thing, it's just going to be like a minor nevuah. Ki adayin haya tirun l'nevuah. That's a geshmak halash. You know what that means? What's a tirun? Reb Nachman, another word? Tirun.
A rookie.
Huh?
Like a rookie.
A rookie, very good, yeah, a novice. Adayin, this is the Lashon of the Medrash. He never had nevuah before. He knew enough, Moshe Rabbeinu knew enough about these kind of things to know that to have a nevuah, you have to have a chana, and you have to be madrega, and you have to have Sholchim, and I have to be. You can't just. There's no such mitzias as a nevuah, which is just. So Elabai, substitute teacher for the day, the king for the day. That's the lashon of the Medrash. So he was afraid. I'm going to get something, and it's not shaykh to me really. And what am I going to get? I'm going to get something which I b'chlal have I'm going to fake it. I have no hasaga in the or. Look, everybody's been in this position, huh? Why? Because he didn't want a Sufelagan nevuah. He didn't want a nevuah which was just haphazard, just, L'tzarech HaShlichus. Okay, Moshe, you're standing here, help me carry this. Because he didn't want that, he was zocheh to something so special, to B'chol Beisi Nemonu, that he was able to have nevuah all the time. He was always ready. So it was a good thing. What does it mean? Tmunas Hashem yabit. What does the words mean? Nevi'im always need big hachana. Moshe Rabbeinu, by the time he was in the oil moed, didn't need any hachana. Why? Not that he didn't need any hachana, because he was muchan. So why was he muchan? Because he always wanted the authentic, real, full thing. I'll do it, but I've got to do it right. And that's why he was Masariv.
Perfection complex.
A perfection complex. The Rambam says the Zegam can hevel by Nevuas Moshe Rabbeinu Olav. The whole difference between Nevuas Moshe Rabbeinu Vuhuayim b'Madrega Zuba Kvius. He was always there, always ready. V'zacha al Yedei shenisyarim b'Madrega de Lefisha. See, the whole Beisi Ne'emanu. Such a he was zocheh to that. He was zocheh to come to a place where he's always ready. they always say the drasha at the Sheva Brachos. What's the you always wish a chas and a kal should build a bayis ne'eman b'Yisrael. Ne'eman, it's like a bayis shel shalom, bayis tov. You should be love, happiness, have a lot of children. What's bayis ne'eman b'Yisrael? So ne'eman l'chayr means always ready. Always ready. Like a guest knocks at the door, I'm ready. Shulach knocks at the door, I'm ready. And Nisayan comes into the house, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. So the Ne'eman is a house you can count on. So Moshe Rabbeinu was like it's Batzaseh Slavavai Ne'eman Lefanecha. Everybody has, everybody has ups and downs. Bihala Bahar Hashem. Everybody. Bihala Bahar Hashem is only a little bit of a baila. It's already a big baila, like to stay there. To always be ready. So Moshe Rabbeinu was a ne'eman, an interesting word. Says the Rambam. And he was zoiche ayidesh nisyara. He was afraid of a madrega lefisha. He was afraid. We still don't understand clearly, like, what would be the chasar. I just want to. What would be the chasar?
If you don't mind, the Maharal in the Verse Hashem seems to say the opposite, if I understand correctly, because he goes on and on about every single aspect of the Yitzis Mitzrayim had to be etzim. It couldn't be mamikra. And so it seems to me like every aspect, everything that had to do with the shlichus should have been a mile of etzim in Moshe Rabbeinu.
So Moshe Rabbeinu Hashem was telling him that it's okay. I want to give you a nevuah.
Yeah.
So he thought it was an aside. We know everything has to be batzim, like you're saying. Can't be. But why? What would have been the chasar? Would there have been a chasar in here? What would have been the chasar? So it would have been Panovich Rosh Shiva for a day. Let's see whether.
That's superficial. That's superficial.
And therefore?
It's not meaningful.
He's being mocked in, the way I understand it, he's being mocked in the erech of a nevuah.
It's not under his own power, right? It's not powered by him. It's powered by Klal Yisrael. He wanted to get there on his own power, I guess.
Emes, but Diladidei Hachiskalos Loihaya Yosir Masha Zachela Achar Kach Rak Da'oz Yare. It was the same Iskalus, according to Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani. It was the same Iskalus that he would have gotten. Oh, I'm sorry. According to the Tanakama, according to the Tanakama, he would have gotten the same Hiskalus that he received afterwards in Har Sinai. Rak Da'oz Yare. Ba'achar Zocha. Let's go to the Shita straight over here. According to the Rabbi Shua ben Karcha, let's go that way. According to Rabbi Shua ben Karcha, what Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu wanted to give him was the full shot. Eternity, Olam Haba, he would have seen everything. Kisharatzisi, it's the Dia Gadolashi, Ratzitzi, Bab Ratzitzi. I wanted to give you what you're asking for now. Lo Ratzitzi. So I wanted to give you everything. According to Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani, he didn't want to give him everything. Couldn't be everything. He just wanted to give him a little bit, and that's why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to take it. So it was like a qualitative question in the nevuah itself. So that comes out, according to Machlokes Tanoim, is what was the quality of the nevuah that Moshe Rabbeinu was being offered over here. According to the Tanakama, it was Hiskalus Me'eino Elam Haba, which he was never able to revisit. Meaning, it's really a pachat, because it means to say that what Moshe Rabbeinu, according to the Tanakama, what Moshe Rabbeinu pushed away at the Sneh, we never received again. Period. Not at Har Sinai, not never. What the opportunity that he had was lost forever. That's why Rabbi Shmuel ben Karcha is criticizing it. Rabbi Shmuel Bar Nachmani says it can't be. How could it be the same quality of nevuah? There was no hachana. And Moshe Rabbeinu knew there was no hachana. So listen to this. This is the key thing that I want to be over here today. I think this sentence explains everything. Ki b'chol eis ratzin, mamash, an underlinable sentence. Ki b'chol eis ratzin. Here's what we're handling with over here. Ki b'chol eis ratzin. Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu roitze lahashpia betachlus hashleimus. Ulahari lagamri k'moshiyeh le'es ketzu la'asid. Liskois la'or haganuz l'tzadikim la'asid lavai. This is the key sentence. I'll explain this sentence. That there's two ways. This is what I think of it. There's two ways to have this unbelievably deep hisgalus. One way is you work yourself into a matzav of v'chol beisi ne'emunah. I'm always ready. I always have a kviyas for the nevuah. I'm always muchan v'chol beisi ne'emunah. That's one way. Then there's another thing called an eis ratzain. An eis ratzain means that Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu is showing me something which I'm not necessarily worthy of. Now, that Ha Kadosh Baruch Hu is showing me or giving me something that I'm not necessarily worthy of is the same as what I could end up with after a lot of amelus. What it means is that it's like a free sample or more. That a person is making himself just a little bit, like a person is making himself, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give a person matana. This is called eis ratzain. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give a person a matana, which is a hisgalus mamish to the level of the final madrega that you'll get to after 100 years of amelus. And a chanami, it won't last. You with me on this? Here's the mashal. I'll give you a mashal. I must told the story already 100 times. I'll tell it again. That years ago, I lived here. I lived here in Am Yisrael, so I lived in Romania. There were neighbors that weren't from completely filonim. So Baruch Hashem Zocha, like you start talking to the neighbors, filonim. One was a private eye, not a private eye, a balash, a secret service, a policeman. Another guy was an electrical engineer. Young guys, chilonim, cars, girls, and that's what the deal was in me. So I started talking to them. They started to become firm. So one of the guys says to me that, okay, Yaakov, Yichlati, I want to buy tefillin. Time to buy tefillin. How much does tefillin cost? I said, you can buy tefillin in a place. 300 shekel, you can buy tefillin. And there's still liros. 300 shekel, 400 shekel. No, tefillin, real tefillin. He wants to get good ones, How much are the most expensive tefillin? So I told him, Eli, you have money for the most expensive tefillin? Sell my car. So I sell his car. You know what it is for an Israeli to sell his car? You're talking about 1979. You're not talking about Israeli to sell his car. So I knew, I didn't know that much about Balei Tshuva, but this rule I knew that that the job of the Bakarim is to slow everybody down, right? So take it easy, chill. You're not holding by it, and if all the rain, if you skip rungs on the ladder, you're going to fall off the ladder, and don't go for a madrega which is not yours, and buy a cheap tefillin another year, buy better tefillin another year. Your son's by mitzvah, you buy yourself a real good pair of tefillin, give your son the lousy ones. I'm trying to push him down. So here's like a funny situation. Here's this guy who wants to buy, Brownsdorfer tefillin, and selling his car or something. I would, sell his car, and I'm pushing him. No, you just go with the cheapos. So Ibcham Stavros. So what does he say to me? He says, Bo nishal tarav shelcha. Steinberg is sitting 6 doors away on his porch with his talis and tefillin. And so he says, I'll ask him what he should do, unless you think you should paskin for me. So I said, I'm not paskinning anything. So we go up there. So I go for a Tanya de Visayali to the Rebbe. We walk up to the 6th floor. We're sitting by the Rosh Yeshiva, and I explained to him in Hebrew that this is a new Baal Tshuva. He wants to buy tefillin. I snuck in there. He's not really Shomer Shabbos. He wants to sell his car to buy tefillin, but I'm feeling like it's not the right thing. So the Rosh Yeshiva looks at him and says, for sure you should buy the most expensive tefillin. The money cannot. So I lost right there. No, you don't understand. I'm excited. Like this, he's not holding by such a madrega. It's going to be a chasard. He's going to wake up in a week and say, where's my car? I sold my car. And his tefillin, it's going to be like, no, don't think about your car. You sell your car, buy tefillin. It's a very good thing. Wonderful thing, buy tefillin. So yeah, that's what he decided to do. The Rosh Yeshiva passed. So I said to the Rosh Yeshiva later in the afternoon, I went to in yeshiva, I said to him, I don't know, like, I'm not, like, I questioned him. So he said to me he said to me, you're missing a key point. He said that when a person first starts in a derech of ruchnius, the whole Shemayim is open to him. And he wants to do the most murderous things in the world. He's ready to be Moshe Nefesh. He's willing to sell his car. He's willing to he'll do anything for Yiddishkeit. It's a beautiful thing. This is a hashpah that Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu is giving. And according to what, it doesn't last forever. It's just at the beginning. But according to what he's makabel at that time, that's what the end game will be. And if you slow it down, his end game will be here. So you have to let him do it. Let him do it. This is a tremendous ruach from Ha Kadosh Boruch Hu that's coming right now. Don't blow the ruach. That's what he told me. So that's mamash the. I'm looking for years for a makar for this non-intuitive and non-customary minhag for Bali Tshuva. All right, that's not what nobody says this. Take it easy. Go slow. You get a better tool than me, he's fascinated, right? But here's the makar. Ki b'chol eis ratzain HaKadosh Baruch Hu roitza lashpia betachlis hashleimus. This is the Sarusa de La'ela. I'm giving you now a vision of what it can be. Moshe Rabbeinu standing at the Sneh could have a vision of Hareini Na'es Kvodecha. And right, he could have had the vision of mamash. He could have seen something that a human being could never see. Lo Yerani Adam Machai, eternity. It's not within our Soga. Olam Haba, not within our Soga. Ayin Lo Rosa Lakim Zulasecha, not within our ability to see. He could have had it at that moment because that's the Eis Ratzah, and it was an Eis Ratzah. Moshe Rabbeinu is starting a new career now. Ruchnius, leadership, Klal Yisrael, starting a new career. Doesn't make any difference what. I'm giving you this as a gift. Now you spend the rest of your life working yourself up to that place. But by the way, it's also mistafra. It's also mistafra because if you, I would imagine that if you want, let's say, your son to go into a certain line or a certain career, and you're telling him, like, I really think this is good for you. So you're not going to show him. When you want to show him what it is, let's go visit somebody in this business, because I think so. You're not going to show him the guy who's not matzliach or the guy's a little bit matzliach. Take him to the top, right? To show him, Warren Buffett. This is what happens if you go into business. Now, you're raising the sight to now we're talking a real ball game here, because I'm raising you up to the highest madrega, and once I'm raising you up to the highest madrega, that's what you're going to work for all your life. If I show you this, you've just lowered the bar. So Ha Kadosh Baruch Hu, by every Eis Ratzin at the beginning, so you say everybody's thinking, did we miss this one? So we didn't miss anything, because there are many Eis Ratzins. Like every time you start a new haschala, even in place if you're Rabbi Akiva Eiger, when you start a new haschala,
Hashem gave us the gift of being His chosen people, but how many don't accept that?
There you go. But the gift, but it's not a one-time choice. Okay, accept it now.
This is according to both Tanai?
Oh, so it comes out according to both Tanai. Like it's interesting. Like on the one hand, Rabbi Shua ben Karcha is wrong, and on the one hand, he's right. I mean, everybody's going to agree with the same thing. Hitaka wasn't right for this nevuah. And because he realized the madrega that you have to be on, so Vayaster Moshe he hid away. But what he didn't realize was, even without being roy for the nevuah, you can get it as a freebie. And that's what he didn't chop. And if he would have, then he would have gotten a positive response at Har Sinai when he said to Hashem, I already know it's Kvodecha.
What was the positive that he was master panav according to?
Because he recognized that you have to be b'madrega. In other words, the Tutzta Damar. The Tutzta Damar is the MS, and then something which is lamala min MS. The MS is he's talking not roy l'kach. How could it be? I'm not there. Klal Yisrael is going to explain. We're not there. What are we talking about here? Can't be. Comes Rabbi Shua ben Karcha. He says it can't be, but it could be because there's such a thing as an Eis Ratzah, where Ha Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you His galus even you don't deserve it. So the truth is, he realized he didn't deserve it. That was a good thing. But even if you don't deserve it, you can still have it. And take it. Okay, so beautiful, right? So it's a beautiful word in Rabbi Tzadok. Now back to the point. Ilu zachu Yisrael oz lo'haya master panav lo'isa eis ratzin. Now the truth of the matter is, I think what he's saying is something even deeper now. Like where's Moshe Rabbeinu coming from? Where's his mind coming from that he pushes away? So, in other words, why didn't he have the schus to know that he should take it? He should have the moment, capture the moment of the Eis Ratzin by the Sneh. The answer is because Klal Yisrael wasn't behind him. Hagufa. Ilu zachu Yisrael oz lo'haya Moshe master panav lo'isa Eis Ratzin. Beautiful. That if Klal Yisrael would have been behind him, then Moshe Rabbeinu would have had the intuitive understanding that this is an Eis Ratzon and I should be makabel it.
Behind him meaning being Mekayim?
Being Mekayim the Ratzon Hashem. They're not, I don't have a people. Not behind him, but I don't have a people. So if he made a mistake, the reason he made a mistake is because he didn't have the schus of Klal Yisrael that would have pushed him to make the right decision. I just want to point out in parentheses here that it's anybody. I'm not talking about Nevi'im or Gedolim or Rabbanim. Anybody. The minute you decide that you're doing something not for yourself, but for the sake of a tzibur, small tzibur, big tzibur, the whole Klal Yisrael, Hashem takes over. The words you say are not words that you were intending to say. The way you look is not the way you normally look. The way you stand is not the way you normally stand. You're a whole different person. Because Shliach Shalom K'moisi. So you immediately take on the demeanor of your shulchan. It doesn't have. I mean, certainly this is true by the Nevi'ei Yisrael, that they were zochah to this nevuah mamish because Klal Yisrael wanted a nevuah. But it's absolutely clear if you're sitting at a Shabbos table and you want to say a vart, for the people at your table. So if the kavanah is for the people at the table, so that's where your koyach is coming from, and you have a different koyach than you would have otherwise. This is like the real beautiful trick of being osik b'tzorchei tzibur. Moshe Rabbeinu was the anav mikol adam. He realized the whole time that if Klal Yisrael is doing the egel, then there's no luchos. There's no. It doesn't. I'm not an independent concept. And even though Hashem told him, you're okay. I'll make a religion out of you. That'll be okay. He understood that the kochos that he was getting. So I'm just saying, anybody doesn't have to be Moshe Rabbeinu who's in this situation feels that their kochos are beyond what's normal. Where do these words come from? Where did this koach come from? Kovei Hashem yachlifu koach. If koach, it could be. If you just have to plug in to the tzibur, it might be one of the most important spiritual tricks out there. It's plugging into the tzibur. It's getting, the more you get yourself out of the picture, the more koach you have. This is why the kashti. That's why you say in Shemona Esrei, everything I'm asking for, asay l'man shmecha, asay l'man kedushasecha, asay l'man terasecha, asay l'man yimunecha, kashti. Kashti. That's my koach, kashti. Kedushasecha, shchinasecha, terasecha, yeminecha. These are, that's the honor of mikol adam. I'm not even asking anything for myself per se. I'm just asking that I should have like a navi. Imagine a navi's davening. So the nevuah can't be shiur on somebody unless he's a chacham, asher, v'gibor. So what's the navi's tefillah look like? God, I really need to become wealthy. I really need to become wealthy. I really got to be able to work out in the gym big time. I got to build those biceps because and you got to give me the high IQ. Why? Because ein ashchina shari ala mishu chacham asher v'gibor. So I need these. So it's okay to daven like that, because for a Navi to daven like that, because he's not doing it for himself, he's davening for Klal Yisrael. I need a Nevuah, because Klal Yisrael is the Nevuah. So if I'm going to be a Kli, these are the halakim that I need. So everybody's allowed to daven like that. So that's the Aseh Laman. Probably the most important sentence in the whole Shemoneh Esrei, because that's what takes the whole Shemoneh Esrei and unlocks it to the Shemayim. The Aseh Laman. Aseh Laman Shemecha. Aseh Laman Shemecha. So it's key. That's a key important.
Chai Salah are thinking when they're going to war. That's
It's the only thing they should be thinking.
yeah.
They probably are. What else?
Yeah.
Okay. Avol b'shvil she'oisodor. So again, we're handling here with Moshe's thought pattern, if we can go there. B'shvil she'oisodor le'zachu be'eni Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom. Because the door that he was dealing with was not zoicha in Moshe Rabbeinu's eyes. Moshe Amar Zal Shamar Be'ezah schus yetzu. What kind of a schus could they possibly have to go out of Mitzrayim? Memtes Shari Tumah. How can I get on a higher madrega than Moshe? Then the Klal Yisrael gets to. Well, King Yorei Gam Hu Mehabit. So he was afraid to look. Even he was afraid to look, even though he was b'madrega. Kain Hiskalus Rosh Hador Elo Bishvil Hador, because he knew the Yesod that I have no way to get a Hiskalus except for even though I'm the Rosh Hador Elo Bishvil Hador. K'mayshisa Mefurish the Chozman Shal Yisrael Nizufim B'Midbar, that when Klal Yisrael was misbehaving in the Midbar. We want food, we want cucumbers, we want onions, right? When they were misbehaving, like Haya Hadibur LeMoshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu lost his prophecy. See, it's an old thing. Even Yaakov Avinu, Bikesh Yaakov Legalos is like Stalku B'Menu Ruach HaKodesh. What was his first reaction? There must be a psul here. Must be some kind of a chasar, because I'm not getting anything except for from you, right? It's not the pshat. I'm getting this whole nevuah here, Parshas Vayechi. I'm getting this for you, and I can tell you even the case. But if you're not there, if you're not holding, you're not holding. So you got to be holding. This is over and over again throughout history. I said that the last famous message that Rabbi Chanan gave to his Talmidim before they were killed by the Nazis is that Rabbi say you have to be holding. like nothing's going to happen here unless we're madrega. I can't say anything. You can't say there's nothing. You have to be. Isa bebrachas al pasuk, and that's the Gemara brachas on the base. Lech reid klum nasati l'chol gdula ela b'shvil Yisrael. Rashi brings klum nasati l'chol gdula b'shvil Yisrael. Go down from the mountain, Moshe. You're no longer Moshe Rabbeinu. You're ois kapiluch macher, because now you have to go down, because I only gave you godless. So even Hashem said that. I only gave you godless, so b'shvil Yisrael. Masha adam zeichel atzmai, because anything that you can get on your own, al yidei hishtadlusai ve'avoidasai eno el davar muat. Mashma, you can get a davar muat, but not much. Iker ha'aris hasagas hagdoyle shahayu l'gdoyle hadaris. Another wonderful sentence. Iker ha'aris hasagas hagdulay shahayu l'gdoyle hadaris. Sheishpia lahem min hashemayim hakol hu rak b'shvil Yisrael. You want to be a Navi? People want to have Nevuah. You want to be a Goyim? People need a Goyim. Like that's the Likud. So, let's just go one more minute just to get a... Madregas Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom shenamar olav v'chol beisi neman hu. What does it mean? Just start this off. What does it mean? Chol beisi neman hu. Rabbi Tzadok's touch. Chol beisi neman. So I touched it up. That means somebody you can count on. He's always there. Neman. What does the word mean, Neman? Like Amen. Yeah. EMUNAH. What does it mean? Faithful.
Loyal.
Trustworthy.
Neman. It's not that kasha. I always wish people buy Neman b'Yisrael. Should be sold to a house we can trust. So he says like this: Kimon Neman habayis. if you're a rich man, you have somebody in your house who's an emun habayis, my trusty butler. What's an emun habayis? Shabal habayis ma'minoi al kol shalai. Hashem trusts in Hashem. For the Baal Bayis, Hashem trusts him over everything of his. He trusts you implicitly. Yodeya, I know shlo yikach shum davar b'lo yirshus v'rotzon habayla. You're not going to take anything. You're not going to put your hand into the drawer and take out what's not yours. That's an emun. V'halakicha lamala. What's the nimshul? What does it mean? Halakicha lamala hu histaklos b'mufla mimenu. B'chol beisi nemanhu, listen to this, such a deep thing. B'chol beisi nemanhu, Moshe Rabbeinu, this trusty butler, was never putting his hand in the till. Wasn't putting his hand in the cash register. What does that mean in Ruchnius? It means I'm not looking to where I'm not supposed to be looking. I'm not going beyond my madriga. I'm not making any. I'm not being presumptuous here. I'm not thinking I'm anything that I'm not, and I'm not taking any more than you're giving me.
Took the coals instead of the gold.
That's it. Hashem Yisbarach is giving it to him. Right? The Balabai is saying to the butler, here, take more money. It's okay, take more money. He brings Moshe Rabbeinu into his bedroom. Vigilo like Holganaza. Imagine, I love you, my butler. Come into my room, opens up the drawers and shows him all the things that he doesn't show to anybody else. That's how much I trust you. That's how much I love you. So this is what Hashem is doing to Moshe. But what does the real good butler say? Yes, to Moshe Panim. Look, I'm here to work for you. I'm not here to look at your jewels or to have them. Who haya neman? Moshe Rabbeinu was neman. Shloi nistakel al mashi yada bebirur shu ratzon Hashem Yisbarach b'kach l'toyelas hanagasei ba'aras l'dar. Here's my question. By me looking at these jewels, am I going to be able to be helpful to you or not? That's the butler's question. Nice you're showing them to me, and it's nice you want to show me this gesture of love. But by me looking at these jewels and handling them and looking at things that nobody gets to look at in your house, is that going to help you? That was Moshe Rabbeinu's question. Is that going to help your household? And Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, okay, you're showing me the crown jewels, but is that going to help Klal Yisrael that I'm seeing this? You're just showing me something there's no kesher to me. And certainly no kesher to them.
It sounds like you're saying two different things here. On one hand, which one is the standard? That is above his madrega, or that is necessary for his job?
He's saying that it can't be necessary for my job because it's not my madrega and it's not their madrega. Only godless that I can get, it's deeper than that. The only godless that I can possibly get is for Klal Yisrael. And Klal Yisrael is not there. So since Klal Yisrael is not there, this can't possibly be a real opportunity here. So Elamai, you like me, okay? You like me, you're showing me, but it can't be a real schus. This is the pshat in Moshe Rabbeinu.
His madrega was only because of Klal Yisrael, therefore...
Right, so what do you...
If it's not...
How could this possibly be helping you with Klal Yisrael and Klal Yisrael's not holding there? What is this Gilui going to do? In other words, the Gilui, you know, it's like the Zohar says. The Zohar says that interesting Zohar, comical. The Rosh Hadar we find by Pinchas, we find other places. I think it's a Parshas Pinchas Zohar that the Gadol Hadar is called the Rosh Hadar. So it's the Zohar. You can't have a little person with a big gigantic Rosh. It's like a caricature. It looks silly. You can't. So every they say in America is like a shul gets the rabbi they deserve, which I always found very insulting.
Until you got here.
Until I got here. There is no such thing as like nemuchim that have the Chavetz Chaim as the Rebbe here. Shul gets the rabbi deserve generation called Parnas Lefi Doirei. So this is a Zohar that you can't have a big roish on a little body. It doesn't work. So Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, I can't take this. I can't take this look. I can't have this iskalos. With permission, one more minute because I want to finish. V'Yisrael Sheboy say Hadar. The fact is, the Klal Yisrael in that generation, Hayu B'Tachlis Hashikua, was in the lowest place possible. K'moshe Darshu Al Pasuk Goy Mikarev Goy. They were a guy inside of another guy. Halalu oivdei avodah zarah, v'halalu oivdei avodah zarah. They were really bad. Nigalu, however, so why did they go out if they were so bad? Nigalu, not schus avos like you're thinking. Nigalu ela b'shvil ha'emunah, Yalkut Shimoni Parshas B'Shalach. The reason why we had a geula is, yes, we were being over avodah zarah, and yes, we were doing all the terrible things, but we had emunah. Shazehu shayrish kailol kol ha'tarah. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu didn't chap. He didn't chap that he was looking at the accessories, and he wasn't looking at the omek. The omek hadavar was that yes, they're going mikarev goy, but on the other hand, they have emunah. Shazehu shayrish kailol kol ha'tarah kula. If you don't have emunah, back to my maral, he's on my midolim. If you don't have the pshitos, the emunah pshito, what do you have? K'moishe Isa, like it says, bo chavakuk v'hamidon alachas tzadik v'emunasa yichya. At the end of the day, it's all about the emunah. So it works like this: you have to have emunah, and then from the emunah you can grow out all the accessories of Yiddishkeit. That's the way it's supposed to be. Let's say you have all the accessories, you don't have emunah, you have nothing. You have nothing. L'chayra, if a person does a mitzvah shaloi l'shma, probably didn't do anything. Probably didn't do anything. It probably has no mile at all, because the Gemara says first that the person should be always with mitzvah shaloi l'shma, shemitach shaloi l'shma ba l'shma. Why does it say like that? Why doesn't it say mitzvah shaloi l'shma? Because that's also something. What do you need the mitoich here? The Torah says it's mamish nothing. So if you have all the accessories and you don't have the emunah pshuta inside, so you have nothing. If you have the emunah pshuta and you don't have the accessories, so you got work to do. But you have ba'chavakuk v'midonachos. You have the main thing. So what you have to make sure is that it's so easy to build out and miss the emunah pshuta. So the emunah pshuta has to be there, and from there it has to grow. So Moshe Rabbeinu, he's saying, actually missed this point. Ba'chavakuk v'midon alachash shal yidei zeh levad hu davuk b'chayu ilamin. That's all you need. That's all they needed, and that would have been enough for Moshe to have. Understand this? Moshe to have the greatest hiskalos that would ever have been given to mankind, and in the end was not given to mankind to anybody ever, not even Moshe Rabbeinu. He missed it because he missed one simple nakuda that Klal Yisrael has emunah. That's what he missed, and by missing that one simple nakuda, we lost out forever on the hiskalos of eternity and all of Haber.